Tainan has been like a second home to me for as long as I can remember. My earliest childhood memories involve stray dogs stealing my shoes, or my housekeeper taking us as kids to the market around the corner to choose eels for dinner. Taiwan is half of me, and that's something that will never change. It's my Taiwanese half that introduced me to music in the first place, put a violin in my hand, and said, "Play." Every year when I came back to visit my grandparents, I would make sure to play for them the folk songs that they know so well. My grandmother, who has severe Alzheimer's, still remembers and can sing all the words to her favorite folk songs. So here I am now, at 29, and suddenly it's not such a stretch to commission a piece that is really dedicated to all of this. The question was, how did we go about making this happen, encompassing all of this nostalgia into one piece? Illya and I were coming to play a concert at Chimay Hall, and this seemed like the perfect opportunity for a premiere.
So we chose a catalog of folk songs and sent them to our friend and composer Kenichi Ikuno.
But I really didn't know anything about Taiwan, other than it was where Katha's family was from, and old name for Taiwan was Formosa.
Which is where the name for the piece came from the breath of the beautiful island.
So they sent me the catalog, but the first and the last songs are coincidentally about love. The first one is about love sickness, and the other is about love in the fields. I felt a little bit like to Puccini, not in the sense that I was writing opera or anything like that, but I had to, like Puccini, I had to evoke a world that I have never been in before.
We initially thought, since we just programmed Bartok's Romanian folk dances, that it might be good to have almost a reaction to that piece.
But the thing with Bartok is that he actually went to different towns, to different populations, and collected all this traditional folk music. In my case, I had this collection already made for me. Only after writing the music, I was able to visit the country and see where all of this came from, which, in a sense, if you think about it, was like reverse engineering.
So there are hints of Bach in there in this devilishly difficult fugue.
And every composer has to stick a fugue into his piece.
He also tips his hat to Copland and Stravinsky as well.
And it's also interesting how it grew from its original intent into something much larger.
Well, it was modeled after the Romanian folk dances at the beginning, but then it took a life on its own like any other piece.
We've known Ken for a good few years now. He was introduced to us through a mutual friend, and he kind of strolled awkwardly into our apartment with a bottle of Herradura in one hand and a bag of iPods stuffed to the brim with music in the other. And that was the beginning of it. He knows us well and knows the type of music we like to play, so that always makes it easier when you're commissioning a piece that he knows our style.
Well, it's easy to know their style. We have very similar tastes, but my writing style is usually much more, let's say, bombastic.
His first piece in 2014, Walks, was our wedding present.
That piece was so difficult that it's a real testament to our marriage that we stayed together at all while rehearsing it.
Kenichi also suffers from a chronic composer disease. He's got composeroids. He never hands his scores on time.
Well, I did eventually. And they actually played it very well, so they had enough time to do it. No, that's too much. That's so dismissive, though.
Tainan, it's changing. Every time I come back, I see it. The streets are cleaner, the shops more hipster, and there's a lot less stray dogs. It's great, truly. But I'll always remember those summers I spent in Tainan with my cousins, shooting bubble tea pearls across the street with straws, the betel nut stains on the sidewalk, the sweltering, sticky heat.
So what do you think about Kenichi's piece?
Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos about music.